Hello and welcome. We're looking at Fans Toys Astrotrain FT44 Thomas. There we go. So, as you can see, I already unboxed them. I had to flip these two little purple shoulder pieces up. Had to disassemble his back a little bit to get those popped up. And, well, let's just get right to it. So, as usual, nice big box. Move you out of the way here. Nice big box, pretty pictures, pretty artwork, very cool. Won't be saving that. Comes with his card. Pretty plain pose there, but he does have his description. I'm going to bring that closer. I'm going to try and hold it so you can pause it, because that last paragraph is a direct reference to the 1986 Transformers movie. And I love that they put it in there, and they acknowledge that he doesn't understand mass and weight. Comes with the second face, is a angry face, nice red metallic eyes, and then instructions. Gotta have instructions, always. So, this is more for toy accuracy. I prefer tune accuracy, but I still wanted to put it on to show you. Very nice paint, very metallic purple, very shiny. A second Fan Toys figure, first one being Jive, and so far I absolutely love the quality of their paint and finish. He's got his blaster, which he holds very well when I don't pop it out. Folds up so you can store it in his alt modes. Just a plain finish, but pretty decent detail for a Toon weapon. You know, there wouldn't have been much in the Toon anyway. And let's go over his articulation real quick. Actually, I'll just, real quick, do a little bit of a spin around on him. Looks amazing. He's got some translucent red here. He's got a little bit of translucent yellow for the train light, and then he's got the flip out panels in his arms. That'll be for the train windows, I believe. His eyes are a nice shiny metallic red. This yellow is a little bit metallic too. It's got some sparkle to it. And let's see, his head, ball joint, so it goes up, goes down a little bit, swivels. If you tilt it up, he can go all the way around. Pull some Exorcist movement there. Shoulder on a soft ratchet goes up to there. You can rotate it around. The wings do get in the way, of course, as to be expected. You've got bicep swivel. You've got a really deep elbow bend, double jointed, it looks like. There we go. Wrist, you got a rotation. It'll go most of the way, but you do have some collision with that panel. His fingers, his thumb is on a ball joint. There we go. Thumb's on a ball joint with one pin, and his fingers are individual with 2 pins each. You do have a waist rotation. You only go so far before you start colliding. No ab crunch. You've got, I'll flip up that skirt. You've got up to there on the forward. You've got out to there. It does hit. So that's the only thing keeping it. If I rotate that, I can go all the way out, and that holds really well. See. Oh yeah. Total splits. Can't go back because collision. So that is it. However, he's got a really, so that's his knee. Whoops, I hit my camera. So just about 90. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like there's a second knee joint, but if so, it's not bending for me. I just popped that loose. These have one tab right here going into this slot. Do want to make sure this is out of the way when you tab it in. There we go. All right. And feet don't have any ankle tilt, or sorry, toe tilt. But you've got ankle tilt. Pretty good amount of ankle tilt. Just no toe tilt. And half of that came apart. There we go. As you can see, his feet are going to be the front of the train, as well as the front of the shuttle. You can, whoops, you can see that in there, and a little landing gear. All right, well, now that I'm done throwing him around, okay. Now that I'm done throwing him around, let's go ahead and get him transformed. I'm just going to follow the book, go into shuttle first, and then go into train. And each way, if there's any kind of gimmicks or anything, I'll show you when we get there. All right, now let's get him into his shuttle mode. So first thing we're going to do is his hands. Fold in all of his fingers, bring his thumb down, rotate it, there we go. So that your fists are looking like that. It's all balled up, both sides. Cool. We're going to flip this panel out. You're going to unlock this panel from the purple hinge. There we go. You're going to fold that panel in, that down, turn it around, and close it back up. And do the same on the other side. There we go. All right. Next thing, flip his head around now, flip up these two panels, right? Make sure that is untabbed from the little notch it sits in. And you want to just pull that up. And split his back. And when you do that, you can bring those in to make it really, really easy to undo his backpack. I mention that because I haven't seen anybody else do that. They usually just kind of fight with it and fiddle with it. If you bring these over more, because you see you've got that little lip, but it ends. See, so it's like you have a channel for that to slide into. See? Makes it a lot easier. Anyway, getting distracted here. So we folded those in, heads in, that's all done. We'll leave it there for the moment. We'll flip up both shoulders, swing them around. We're also going to rotate. And again, we're going to leave them like that for just a second. Now you want to disconnect these. Disconnect this. You want to pop it up. Now, on my copy, which is a 2023 reissue, I don't have too much issue with sliding these back and forth on those little screws, but I have issue with getting them in place here. So let's see, I've done it a few times. Hopefully it's loosened up. Perfect, there's one. Transform this guy between its different modes probably like 20 or 30 times by now. All right, there we go. They've definitely loosened up. And then you just slide that back down, and we'll put it down there for now. We're going to end up using that in a little bit. I'm going to slide both of these forward. And I'm going to give them a little bit of a gap, because now I want to flip this up. All right, and then you want to bring this all the way up so it's above the arms. There we go. And now you'll fold both of these up. You'll clamp them together on the very obvious tab and slot. And then just kind of lock them in like that. And then this will come down. You've got 2 tabs there and there for 2 slots. Right there and right there. Yeah. And you just bring it in and tab it in. Getting it in there can be a little difficult. Okay, there it is. Got it. Fought with it a lot more than I should have. But I got it. All right, and now bring those up to meet it. Make sure that panel is there. Locked in. There you go, you have the back. Now we'll flip this up. It'll be the front of the rear spoiler. You just lock that in, or tail fin. Okay. Well, that was an adventure. Moving on. Pop all that up, fold these 2 panels out, and you push down on this button and pull down on the legs. So they're like that. And I'm going to do it now just before I forget, but you flip these panels around. So you have the design facing outward for Space Shuttle. All right, now swing that in, swing that up. All right, get on this side, right here. Swing that in, swing that up. All right, then you'll flip down this panel on both sides. And that's gonna allow the knee to slide in and then lock it back in place. Then you'll flip that down and this around. Right, so again, toe goes in. This flip around. So you have just the top of the train ready to go. Right, so next, it's a little difficult because you got 2 hinges on the knees. That lower one is a stiff pain in the butt, but you got to do it on both of them. Got to fully compress them. My setup appears to be disintegrating before my eyes. All right, you just fold it all in. There we go. And like I said, same on both sides. Right, now you want to fold out the shuttle bit on both sides. All right, just kind of wherever right now. And so you're going to fold it down so that area locks back into where it was. And then you're going to have to slide that over. So you do one side first. Lock it in, slide it over. One side's easy. And now on the other side, they're going to kind of clash a little bit. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult. There we go. Okay, and now you want to clamp the two sides together. You've got a couple of different tabs and slots. Clamp them together and make sure the shuttle nose pieces also line up. Okay. Down here, make sure the front of the train is tabbed in, if it's not already. Just sometimes likes to come undone. Okay, and then the shuttle nose goes right over that boiler. Just like that, easy peasy. Oh, it is missing, it missed one tab there. There it is. There you go. Right there, nice and flush on both sides. Fully tabbed in. Nose of the shuttle is ready to go. Now we're done under here, so I'm going to go ahead and close up that one with the panels we flipped out and close the second one up. Now the second one, you've got a tiny little tab right there. That's going to go into a notch right here. So, and it's on a hinge too. That tab is attached to the hinge for this. So I'll flip down that one panel, flip down that second panel that has the chrome train whistle on it. And now I can plainly see where that tab is at. And I can work with it a little bit better. There we go. And then you just close that other piece up on it. And then, of course, make sure that everything is tabbed in appropriately. Okay, that is it. Yeah, that's it. All right. That's it for now, anyway. If I can quit untabbing it. Okay, so we're going to flip these around. I want to close up that purple panel on each side. Okay, and then you're going to untab it. And now this is a point that still fights me a little bit. Let's see how bad it fights me now that I'm on camera. So you have two sliders, right? You want to bring it forward and you want to rotate this wing piece in so it's 90 degrees from that. And this hinge is roughly going to be in this little cutout. All right, so it's simple, but sometimes likes to fight me. Okay, there's one. There we go, that one's a lot easier. All right, now I'm going to kick these wings all the way back if you haven't accidentally done it already. They're also on sliders. These tiny little pieces, they're part of the wingtips. I'll flip them down for now just to make sure they're out of the way. And you want to fold these over. So for the rear, you're really just making sure they line up with the gap that's there. All right. You have this little tab that'll kind of somewhat go right into here. So you do kind of want to get it underneath. And it needs to go underneath this as well, this little area. So you kind of scoop it in there, right? Make sure the front is, I'll come back to the front because of those train wheels. 1 second on that. So these train wheels, those are going to get in the way a little bit. And you want, much like with the legs in robot mode, you want to make sure the metal pieces are in a certain way, just so they don't interfere. Okay, there we go. That's good. All right. Now I'm going to flip these small little wingtips down. Oh, the wings, make sure to push them up so they're locked in place. Right, but those small wingtips. Then you have a slot here with a purple tab right here as part of this hinge. And that just goes together. All right. And the last thing is you've got a tab on the wings with slots in the arms, and those need to line up. Those need to go together. Last thing, I'll go ahead and bring the landing gear down. And I just smacked it on the table. Did I? Yep, there we go. And there is, you have a tab and a slot on each side if you would like. But there is shuttle mode. And I love the shuttle mode. It looks very, very, very good. Very tune accurate, which is what I'm after. And even with it being tune accurate, it's got some decent detail all over it. And plus some breakup, but that's to be expected. It's got some good detail though. All right, let's get them to train mode. So first thing, I'm gonna go ahead and fold that up and bring that down. And that's gonna stay there because those slots we're gonna use later for the wings. I'm going to bring the landing gear up and let's disconnect the wings. So first thing, pop those off and I'll fold down those little wing tips just so they're out of the way for now. I'll be using them in a minute. And then there we go. I just get up in there and I bring down the wing and I push out on that. All right. Now I'm going to bring these pieces all the way back for now. I'll adjust them later to their final position, but for now at least, I just want them out of the way. Okay. I'll go ahead and fold them back over. All right, and leave those out. You know, these things, those little purple tabs, really don't do too much in the entire transformation. You can probably forget about them. Okay, I'm going to flip those two tabs around. on both sides. Make sure, and disconnect that, and split the front. Right, now bring up the shuttle cone, and again I want to open these up, bring out the train front, so obviously we're going to need that for train mode, and you want to pull back on the double hinges, but you don't want to touch that slider on the bottom that you have to flip down that panel for. But you're also not going all the way out with these double hinges. There we go. Where the legs are sitting compared to this purple panel, that's about right. Fine tune it as needed. All right, I'm gonna bring the nose cone all the way in. And fold them back in place, just like how they were for the robot legs. Okay, why are you fighting? Let me go one more notch. Yep, there we go. One more notch, that's all I needed. It's probably the same on this side too. There we go. And go ahead and squish the legs back together. And now, this tab is going to go into that slot. So you're going to bring these up, and you're going to rotate it down. And as far as where everything is situated, you just kind of make it work. There we go. And see, so we've got that slider all the way forward, and it's pretty much all the way back on the wing, because you got the two sliders. Then you got those tabbed in. It's looking like a train front. Okay. Now, try and get some stability in here. You flip this panel around. You bring down that first one. You bring down, oh, the last one, then the first one, and then one of the whistles will go right in the middle. Don't worry, it's not really locked right now. That at least tells me that I have the height of the legs good. And I'll come back to that. So we got the train, the wings down. Slide them in on those little sliders. And we're going to flip these. Flip those panels around. Flip it around, and that little wing tip that I keep getting out of the way, make sure it's lined up at this point. You fold in that back half of the wing. Now you just get it all lined up. Make sure tab goes into the slot there. Make sure the back, that square overlaps. You can do these metal pieces now or later. I'll just do them now. Okay, and it's the same thing over here. Flip up that panel and that panel. Then the entire piece. That little wingtip. Rotate that. Okay, so underneath everything looks good. These are squeezed together. Just got to see why this isn't lining up. There it is. Gotta close up the boiler there. Alright, now make sure those metal pieces are good. Okay, so this is where we're at right now. We're not done, but pretty close. Majority of it is done. Gonna want to flip down these panels in the arms. Flip them around so the windows are facing out. Make sure to close that back up. Flip these panels up. Pull out on that shaft. Rotate it around. Squeeze it in. And same thing on this side. That one came undone. There we go. And last thing, if you would like, you can store the weapon, of course. That tab right there goes right under there. Plain and simple. And that doesn't want to stay tabbed together. There we go. Much better. Astrotrain in its train form. Nowhere to store this though. And since I have the 23 reissue, I do not have the train tracks flight stand. That did not come with the reissue. So that is all. Just for reference, you definitely can go from robot to train mode or train to robot mode. There's just a few steps you do going from robot to shuttle that you don't have to do from shuttle to train. So if you try going straight from robot to train, you got to remember to do those steps, like the whole hitting that button and shifting the legs down. So that's really all. Woo!